We're live.
Hello.
Hi, Kimmy.
We are live. Welcome to Dating Real Talk. This is episode 2.
Woohoo.
My name is Kimmy Seltzer. I am a confidence therapist, a dating strategist, an image expert, and I am here with the lovely, the beautiful, and my bestie, Allison Melody from Food Heals Podcast. Hi, how are you?
I'm
Cheers,
good.
welcome.
Cheers. We made it to another episode.
Yes, we did. And I was super excited for it. For those of you who missed last time, I just want to recap because this is a new show. A lot of you may know me from Charisma Quotient, which is my podcast. And I've been doing this for, oh my gosh, almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
And I was excited to start this live show because I really want to interact with you all. And this is a way of doing it. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I will be live at 4 p.m.-ish Pacific time. I got caught in traffic today. And this is your chance to ask questions in real time. And it is all about real advice, even with the reality show. So it's kind of where reality TV meets real life dating lessons. And I'm loving our conversations. And so Allison will probably be joining me on Thursdays to talk about that. And every Tuesday, I will be going live and asking you all questions of what you want answered. And so please come ask any dating questions that you might have. And that's the way I can give you advice in real time. So let's get to it.
Let's get started. I love it. Well, we watched episode 1 and did kind of a recap with some of your commentary. So now we have
the Golden Bachelor.
Of the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
And now we have episodes 2 and 3 because we had to take a week off because you were in Chicago and I was in New York. But we're back.
Yes, we are back and we are dedicated to doing this weekly, at least until the finale.
Yes.
Right. And so we are going to be focusing on a lot of different reality shows, anything that has to do with love and romance and dating.
So now I have to watch all the shows.
Yes,
Got
you
it.
do, because
No
you are the pop
Oh,
culture
wait.
queen,
I already watched
Maven.
them.
That's why I have you here.
Am I going to get paid to watch shows and talk about them? Yes, please. Okay.
And then I am here to bring it home, to bring it real and how it applies to your dating life. And so, we recapped episode 1 and there were a lot of things that came out of it. You had some opinions.
I sure did. And I have some more.
I can't wait to hear. And I have some opinions too, obviously. But I don't know if you have any kind of takeaways or questions that you have. Let's start with episode 2.
Okay.
And so why don't you go ahead and ask? Because I know I have so much I want to say, but I know you have questions.
Well, let's start with, I want to talk about my hero who turned into the anti-hero. So
Nicole.
I knew you were going to know who I'm talking about. Okay. So I think that Nicole brought it with the roast. A roast is really hard to do. A roast is, you have to be funny and cutting at the same time. It's so I don't know if they got help writing their jokes. I have no idea. But she brought it. It was funny. And I was like, love her. And she had a cute outfit. Then the next episode turned out, girl was Lisa Vanderpumping this whole thing and controlling the narrative. And she was only there to be famous, which we can get into. So my opinion changed, but that's what happens with first impressions. Kimmy, you talk a lot about first impressions. So why is it that sometimes we see someone a certain way and then they can totally flip the script and we're like, oh, they're not who we.
Well, actually, it kind of relates to what we were talking about Mel in our last episode, because you have some first impression opinions on Mel, right? And then I was talking about pink flags. You know, there are things that might, pop out that feel like something that should be concerning, but that we don't have enough evidence. And so that's why first impressions can be hard because it changes over time and it can go for the good and it can go for the worst. So same thing with Nicole. So you had a first impression of who she was. And let's just face it, we all get caught up in the shiny object. So you liked her outfit, for instance.
Oh, I liked her outfit, and she had good jokes. Want me to read you one of her jokes?
Go for it.
Okay. So he said, and I thought this was adorable. Here's my impression of Mel. Roses are red, violets are blue, and I want all the women to love me, but especially you, and you, and you, and you. But can I check your ID first? I thought it was great.
It was great. It was great. And she does have good outfits. Like, they're both great.
Yeah.
You know,
I was impressed. I was like, bring it, girl.
Yeah. Okay. So then let me ask you this before I kind of analyze the whole thing.
Okay.
Then did your opinion change in episode 3 where she became the anti-hero?
Yes, it sure did.
Okay. So what changed?
I realized, and they showed us, I mean, the producers do a great job of showing us when people think either she's a master manipulator and she knows they're recording, and so she's trying to create a storyline, or she doesn't. Either way, she's there for clout. She wants to have she has a well, okay, first of all, she's a vegan who eats salmon, so she's not a vegan. So she's from Miami, and she said, I'm a vegan who occasionally eats seafood. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a vegan, first of all. But I guess she does plant-based recipes, and she wants to become, I would know. She wants to become a fashion influencer. And she straight up said that. And she was like telling the girls, like, you guys, this is going to come out and we're going to be like the Real Housewives. And like, she's like trying to manipulate the narrative. Then later, after one of her dates with Mel, she's caught on camera saying, I think she thought like when the date's over, we're just walking back. Like, yeah, you still have mics on, but you just don't even realize cameras are behind you. Or again, she's a master manipulator. And I don't know. She's like, oh, you know, it would be great for the cameras right now or for the TV shows. Like if we went and jumped in the pool or something like that. And you barely caught it. But then I'm like, oh, like I wanted to root for you, but I don't think you're there for love. And I think a lot of the women really are there for love. And yes, it's a TV show. I'm still not clear if Mel is there for love or for clout, but I believe a lot of the women are. And so, bye, Nicole. I don't love you anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm still rooting for love.
You're okay. I love that. So did your opinions change about Mel, especially in relation to her?
Okay, well then later, I know we're jumping ahead, but this is just what we do. Okay,
yeah.
So later, what I thought was very interesting is she was like all about him and she told him that. And then he was like, I love that she's all about me. And I was like, no, we're supposed to be these independent women. They want me to, you want us to be obsessed with you? No, we got it back. I was like, which is it? So I thought that was very interesting and confusing. When my opinion changed of Mel is I was like, I think Mel has more to offer than we've seen on this show. And he was on another date and he said, oh, I also went to cooking school. And I was like, tell us more about that. Let us get to know, all I know is you're a football player who seems very shallow and kind of hot. Like, give me more. I want to learn about that. And so my opinion of Mel is like, maybe there's a lot more to you that's just not being shown. And I'd love to see more of that.
Exactly. Well, and so I just wanted, because I love hearing just how you shifted. So I think your opinion of Mel got a little better and worse for Nicole.
Yeah,
right?
It did.
And how that applies to real life. You know, we always meet people and we'll come back from the date or meeting somebody in real life and either be totally enamored and infatuated or be like, ew, you know, like it could go either way. And that is why it is so important to be open and really pay attention to the things that are important. When it comes to first impressions, as a recap, last time I was saying in the brain, 2 things happen. We base our assumptions first in that 7 seconds, which is the clothes that you wear, and you were enamored by her clothes.
I thought she was cute. She had a cute little white skirt, little floral shirt.
Obviously, he does too.
Yeah.
And then also your attitude, the way that your body language is, but also just your energy as well. But as you get to know people, the first impression stage kind of stretches, and then we look at other things. So what was interesting, we kind of talked about this off air. I had a totally different opinion on Nicole.
Right. Okay. So let's go there.
She was my anti-hero from the beginning.
You didn't even like her from the beginning? I thought you would like her outfit.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And I'm not being shallow. It's like what Kimmy does. She gives people makeovers and helps them dress well.
Right. I admired her for her clothes, but I saw some pink flags in the beginning.
Okay.
Let's not forget she made out with him in the pool.
Oh, that was her?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm still getting to know who everyone is. I already forgot.
Right. And she from the beginning has been talking into the camera of how she doesn't have a problem getting the guy, and she can't wait to like do her thing on Mel. And so there was this kind of sense of control and manipulation and
not sexy
excitement.
confidence.
No, it was more about winning for her than
Okay.
it was to truly make a connection. So I like, and I'm just saying this tongue in cheek because I don't really know Nicole. So sorry, Nicole, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're a great person, but I'm just applying it to real life because a lot of times, like somebody will give a great first date. They look amazing. They sweep you off your feet, but then you're not paying attention to how they make you feel. And the women around her, I mean, they felt it, right? But he was blindsided by her sex appeal. She's like constantly making out with him. She's turning it on. Like she does not have trouble flirting.
Well, and it's working because
correct.
She keeps getting, you guys all watch the show. Hopefully by now, this is a spoiler, but keeps getting the roses and she's moved on to the next round. So it's clearly working on him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll see how far it will go.
Yeah.
I will say that. I mean, look, everyone wants that sexual chemistry, right? That makes us feel alive. And here's another thing about dating later in life. We all come from our own stories, right? And so it's funny because I just got off the phone with somebody and he was in a marriage that was kind of sexless. And so fast forward, moving out there in the world, it was something he craved. It was something he looked for. And, if you didn't know his history, you might even say, he's the typical guy. He just wants sex. But in reality, he didn't have it. He's a really good guy and he's craving that physical connection. So he kind of went crazy. He was like the adolescent right after divorce, which often happens, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the rites of passage, as I call it. But it helped him get his mojo back, so we don't know everyone's stories. That's why it's so important to not jump to judgment because we don't know where people come from and we might misjudge based on our own stuff.
Of course. I mean, we talk about this because, you're actually a therapist and I went to get my master's degree in psychotherapy, but essentially we are always projecting. And if we're aware of it, we can kind of go, all right, what's this really about? But most people walk around the world unaware that they're projecting their sense of fill in the blank on that person. And so once you learn that, it's actually a great tool to learn because then you can actually be self-aware and change the narrative about someone that you might be creating in your head that has nothing to do with them and has everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why, like, I remember there was a client and, when I work with people, there's no hiding from me. I want to see your Bumble account. Like, I want to see those conversations. I will have sessions with people where, we're into their account and I'll see how people vet people, like as if I'm them. And this one woman, she kept swiping left on all these awesome guys because I could see, like, in the profile, there were these triggers for me that were good. I'm like, oh, this is a good guy. Like, and she kept swiping left.
Okay, why?
Because there would be one thing that was like her ex. They'd be like, oh, no, see, there's the narcissist. He just said that. I'm like, okay. It's good to look for things, right? But be careful that you don't overgeneralize things so that you're not now giving anybody a chance. And this is the thing that we're up against, dating later in life. When you're in your 20s, life hasn't happened yet. We haven't had trauma. We haven't had, but shit happen yet. Yeah. So we're kind of wide-eyed and we have a similar pool that we're swimming in. But later in life, everybody has those stories and navigating the baggage can be hard. That's why it's so important to slow down. It's so important to have a period of time where you're just dating up a storm, not getting attached, but really learning about yourself in the process.
Yeah. And not having that huge attachment to the outcome. Of course,
yes,
we're watching a show where every single woman on there is either there to get married or get famous, but they are getting to know each other quite quickly. And another moment that stood out to me that I wanted to ask you about, and it was Nicole again, actually, because she is the star, regardless if you love her or hate her.
And she wants to be,
yeah,
by the way.
tell.
Yeah.
Well, it's working.
It's working.
It's working. So good job, Nicole. manipulating those reality TV producers, or maybe they're manipulating you. Who knows? We'll see.
I was gonna say it's probably a little
bit of both. But she won a date after it was the Jared Freed roast.
Oh yeah.
So she won the date, and it was like, and who knows? It could have been edited this way, but immediately, you know what I'm gonna say. Immediately it was like, okay, why didn't it work out with your ex? And like, give me all the details and blah, blah, blah. And of course, everybody's curious. We all want to know about each other's past. But on a first date or a first impression, or even a second, my opinion is hold back. But I want to know from the expert, like, when do we start to ask those questions, and how do we ask those questions? Because to me, it felt aggressive.
Oh my God. I love that you picked that out too, because that jumped out on the screen.
Oh yeah, I would never act like that.
Yeah, and it's something that comes up a lot with my clients. It's like, how much is too much? How much is TMI? What is vulnerability? Like it's a pacing issue, right? And I think what happens, and this actually, there was a term that came out of COVID, and it was called hardballing.
Okay.
And it was this thing where people didn't want to waste time, and so a lot of these, especially younger women, were going on dates and doing what Nicole did, just kind of throwing it out there. Like, look, I'm not going to waste my time. And are you this? Are you that? Are you in? Are you out? You know, do you want a relationship or don't you? And
but so not everything is black and white.
Exactly. Okay. And it's almost a sense of like drilling. And we really felt that on the screen. Yeah. I felt that big time. Here's the thing that I will say. Especially, so again, we're watching a reality show where we don't know how much time has passed.
Right.
We're looking at it as a first date. Okay. So let's just pretend that was the first date. That would be what not to do.
Yeah, I agree. No. I'm sure a normal man would go run. He's on TV, so he's not going to, but a normal man would go running from the hills. Like, calm down.
Yeah. No, I mean,
be soft. Like, let me get to know you as a person.
The funniest thing is, I had done a show, and it was called The Great Love Debate. Brian Howie, hi, I hope you're out there. He's still doing the show, and he has a podcast, and it's great. But one of the things I remember, because we would go into the audience and we would ask questions in the audience of, just different things, town hall style. And it was so fun to like have them vote on different things. And I remember asking the guys that, like, how many guys on a first date really think about marriage of the person that they're with on that first date? Nobody raised their hand.
Right.
And then I asked the women the same thing, and everyone raised
right. And that's the difference.
Right. So like women get, it's almost like we have a story in our head, it's like the storybook and the Cinderella story and what we want and envision.
We've been so brainwashed by Disney.
I
know. Should I just fall asleep and wait for a prince to kiss me? Okay.
I know. If it were only that easy, right? But it's not. And
spoiler
life
alert,
is not. I wish it was that easy. But the thing that is interesting is that I tell women a lot, if you could just date a little more like a man, I think it would be a good thing. And, men are really, I love you, Doug. I love you. Producer Doug. Because they're very simple. They don't think beyond the moment. They just want to see if they like you. And is there a connection? Do they feel the chemistry, right? And so if we were more present as women and just treated our first date as connecting and being curious and having fun, how much more present we would be too. Because the truth is, there is no way to ward against the hurt that you have been through by hardballing someone. You cannot protect yourself. And this is what happens so many times, is that a lot of people are asking questions as a way of protecting themselves from something that maybe they experienced, but you can't predict the future. I always joke like it's not like you're going to write in your profile, no assholes. And do you think the assholes are going to say, oh, forget it?
You know what?
I'm out.
I'm out.
It's the same thing. Right?
That's really funny.
Or a woman, or if the guy calls out for the woman, no drama queens, a woman's not going to be like, oh, I guess
I'm out.
He doesn't want me. So the point is that drilling somebody on a first date, you lose the sense of fun, connection, curiosity, and that's the only job that you should have on a first date. There's plenty of time to get to know someone.
Yeah. And to ask the questions that you really do want to know, why didn't it work? But I'm with you, Kimmy, because like I'm very easy. I'm very curious. I ask questions, but from just a genuine place of getting to know someone, because I'm also in the entrepreneur world, networking. That's just how we approach people. Like, okay, let's just get to know someone and what they're all about and why they are the way they are. Like, I'm just curious. So I've always been that way. And then I can't even tell you how many times after, my divorce, when I would go out with a person once. And of course, you tell your girlfriends, because we all tell our girlfriends, oh, we're going on this date. They're like, well, why didn't it work out with this ex? And like all these things. I'm like, I don't know. Red flag that he didn't tell you. I'm like, I met this person once, maybe twice, and I don't know the answer to that. And that's okay.
And that's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I agree.
Yeah, that means you gave a great first date.
Hopefully. I mean, they obviously haven't worked out that well, but
Well, I think what we're talking about is a sense of timing and pacing. I mean, of course, these are really important questions. But I find that when people throw out those heavy questions in the beginning, then that's when it becomes an interview. That's when it becomes like a therapy session. That's when people trauma bond. That's when people connect in maybe an unhealthy way too. So, it's so important to just pace things out. But in the meantime, really like pull in and feel what you're feeling. How are you feeling with this person? People don't like pay attention to that sometimes. Like even like what we're talking about with Nicole, getting caught up in the pretty outfits and the flirtiness and all that's great. But also, how does that person make you feel?
And so on the show, is there anyone that you see real chemistry with? I know it's hard to tell because it's a TV show, but like who are some of the people that you're like, you know what? Because remember the photographer said, oh, I see chemistry here. And like we've talked about Nicole the whole time, but there's all these other beautiful women who I really do think have a chance to find love. Is there anyone that has stood out for you?
I have to review my notes. I'm so bad with names.
I know that's
so I have to. Excuse me, but I know definitely. He definitely has a chemistry with Peg.
Yes, the one. So they're the ones. They went to the OC fair.
Yes.
I thought that was really cute.
They have a different kind of chemistry. I always talk about there's 4 domains of chemistry. Actually, there's physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And it's something that I teach people to kind of rate themselves on when they're out on a date. And like, there's almost this like brother sisterly kind of cute love. It's like almost like, but there's romance there too.
Is brother sisterly love okay if you feel that?
It is, as long as there is that physical chemistry. I mean, you can, because then you can be in the friend zone, right? Like there's almost a borderline friend zone-y energy that I'm getting from them. But then, I'm seeing some of the touch and the physical. And the way he looks at her is adoring. Like
that's great.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, again, to be continued. Jury's out with that.
No, I liked them. I thought they were cute. I thought the date was cute. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to, oh my God, is it the one who was rolling in the sand?
Okay.
With the photographer said,
yes.
Is it Carol?
I believe so. Sorry for getting this wrong.
No, Cindy. It was Cindy.
It's definitely a C name. Okay.
It's Cindy. No, because Carol is the one who got the rose, which I was surprised in the group setting.
That's right.
And she's a little quirky and shy. And she's like, I'm just going to put myself out there. And she's trying. Yeah. I think, though, that Cindy, there's a definite like sexual attraction there. There's a pull. Like I even saw.
You could tell.
Yeah. When they were doing the 3 of them, or maybe there were 4, and they were doing a group shot. And I saw like he kept looking at her.
Wow.
There was a look that it was almost like this like admiration and sexual attraction in his eyes.
So as a dating coach, do you think that if you're watching it closely enough that you can see things that like America does not even notice or pick up on?
Well, again,
like body language.
I definitely, I definitely like, because I'm so interested. I mean, I walk through the airport looking at body language, like I just think it's super interesting and how people because, 93% of communication is nonverbal. And
people
it's crazy.
say that. I don't know what that means. Can you please tell me what that means?
Yes.
Like, I get it. I cross my leg towards someone. I cross my arms. I'm not interested. But what else?
Well, and actually in the workshops that I teach, I go through and I break down different body language signals.
Okay, I want to know these.
And how that can signify attraction. Because, I'll have people come back and say, yeah, I had a good date, but I didn't feel the chemistry. 90% of the time, it's probably because of the body language. Like,
okay,
because you can deliver a line, you can say something, and if the body language and the tonality doesn't match it, then it won't be as flirty. So if somebody is sitting, like if we're on a date and we're sitting together and we're just like kind of stiff, there's nothing sexy about it.
No, I feel horrible.
Right.
How should we sit? Like, I feel like leg crossed towards you, but then what else? Where should my hands be?
And then also, like, me matching you. Not that, like, because we
match
women.
anyways.
Yeah, we match. I know we're like bad examples because we're like,
this doesn't count.
We'll have to have Doug on because then I can demonstrate.
You need
Doug,
a man,
yeah, you definitely have to come on. And so I can demonstrate. But you know how like we giggle and we play with our hair, and I'm sure there's viewers are saying, "Oh my God, so now do I have to dumb down?"
Oh my
God,
like I don't play with my hair, Kimmy. How dare you?
Oh yes, you do.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
Have you ever seen me?
Yes, I've seen you in action.
I don't believe you.
You do.
I don't even believe you.
Okay, next time you do it, I'm gonna like.
You better.
I am.
Okay, I can't wait.
But actually, there's studies done that like we do this subconsciously.
Now I'm doing it.
When we're attracted to someone.
Okay, well, I'm attracted
even
to
like that. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look good for the
camera. And what's
so.
funny? Guys actually play with their hair.
They do.
When they're
seen
attracted.
guys go like that. Yeah.
They like kind of ruffle.
Yeah.
Even when guys
so what does
don't
that mean? What does that mean?
It means they're attracted.
Okay, so a guy just randomly plays their hair. Is this true, Doug? You agree?
But he might not be.
He's
like, all flustered.
Dare you?
He's all flustered. Yeah.
Okay, but that might okay.
But still like being mindful of the hair when you're with somebody that matters.
You wouldn't care if she didn't matter. Exactly. He wouldn't care if the hair was sticking up.
That's
exactly
kind of
the point.
That's exactly right. All right. Like, it's just a natural thing. There's some things that are primal, like we can't help, like women's pupils dilate when they're attracted to.
Oh my God! See, I do not like this because then they can see.
I know. I just gave a tip. So now like guys are going to be like,
do men's also?
No, but men's nostrils flare when they're attracted.
Oh my God.
And their eyebrows, sometimes they'll do this thing.
What?
It's crazy.
This is crazy.
No, this is, and again, I didn't make this up. This is
tell
just,
me more.
I don't want to give all my secrets away. That's why you'll have to come to one of my workshops. Go to stophatingdating.com. Anyway,
okay, I've been to 2 of your live events. They are fantastic, but I still want all the secrets.
Okay, yeah. The thing that you were asking about the attraction factor and how body language interplays with that, it's and we can't do it because we have the microphones, but a sense of being close is a really important thing. That's why I always recommend on a first date never have a table in between.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time. But, be at a sushi bar, be where you can, be close, where you can like
sit at a round table
and touch the person as you're talking, and, proximity, positioning, like there's so many things that go into it. And I love teaching that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have a dating retreat as you know, coming up. And this is one of the things that we work on, and then going out into the field and practicing. Cause again, like if I know so many high achieving people who are really cerebral, and they might say all the right things, and they might watch YouTube or podcasts, and they know like the thing to do. But if the energy isn't there, then the people don't feel that connection. And so that's what's kind of interesting about Mel. I mean, I guess just like looking at his body language, I mean, it's so fun to watch his face when he's turned on. Like,
okay,
he just kind of, he gets this
like a little giddy excited.
This boyish look on his face. Like when a woman comes out and he likes what he sees, he'll be like, it's almost funny.
Do you think that you could predict who's going to get a rose by each episode because of the body language things that you've seen, or his reactions that you've seen?
I think it's some of it, but I also, I mean, again, I don't know how things are edited.
True. Yeah.
for an example, we hardly saw him with Robin.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Robin? I didn't feel there was chemistry at all between him and Robin. And I was waiting at the end. I'm like, is it going to be one of those things where all of a sudden Robin gets a rose and we're like, we didn't even see him?
Well, because sometimes it's the producers behind the scenes being like, we need you to pick this person for whatever.
But if I were to see that in real life, I would say there's no way she's going to get a rose. She is somebody, actually, who I would recommend doing a little work with her body language.
Okay, why?
Because she did not have a sense of flirtation in the way that she talked to him. In fact, I think that she led with more intellectual kind of interactions.
Yeah.
She's very caring. I got that because, she wanted to tell Mel that there was somebody in the group.
Right.
I think she really cares about the group and the women. But I fear that she's constantly somebody who gets caught in the friend zone.
Okay, let's talk about that. What did you think about the fact that she said, and all the women were talking about it, but, why is it she that has to go and say something that someone in the group, meaning AKA Nicole, she did not name names, but someone in the group may not be here for the right reason. And he didn't believe it. What are our thoughts?
Yeah, he wasn't sure. He's like, well, she said this and I'm not quite sure. Then he's like, I don't think it's right. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he said that. I don't think that's, like he was not even taking it seriously. Like everyone here in this group is here for the right reasons. And I was thinking like, I don't know, like, would you name? I don't like tattletale. I don't like telling them. I don't know. I felt conflicted.
I wondered what her motivation was for doing that.
Her motivation is cut someone out, cut a bitch who's not here for the right reasons. I want to love you.
But then you don't see any follow-up with that. Like, I didn't get a sense that she liked him. I didn't see any kind of leaning in and her trying to connect with Mel.
No,
like there was nothing.
I mean, who knows with the editing, but it seemed like it was just like, someone's not here for the right reasons. It's like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I know. It was kind of bizarre. But, I think it's interesting, and this is just, I guess, a different dynamic with a group of women. This is why I kind of like the Golden Bachelor. For the most part, both of the shows, I loved the support and the friendship that built with the women. Like, for the most part, they were so supportive of one another. And even like when Mel's making out with somebody, they're like, oh, good for her. Like, I don't know if that necessarily would always be true, but it speaks to also our age group. I think that I think as we mature, the sense of connection, support, friendship is such a high priority. Because I feel like we are in such a fragmented world and it can be very isolating when you don't have a group of single friends. A lot of times you have married friends who are your friends. And I think that almost supersedes whether or not they get the Bachelor. Now we see it become a little more competitive as time goes on, because then we're starting to see the real connections. So now it's getting more competitive. But I think for the most part that I find that part fascinating and interesting. And I see this occur in my dating retreats too. It's super important.
Yeah. And, it's obviously this is a situation that would never happen in real life. So you're like all going for the same guy, but then you've made friends with the women. So you're happy for the women when they make a connection, but you're also like, but wait,
it's odd.
It's a very strange situation to be in. Because in the real world, if you had a group of friends, that guy that you're dating or have even kissed is off limits.
Yeah.
So it's a very, hyper realistic, weird thing that they're going through.
Well, and that's why we're talking how it applies to the real world.
Right, exactly.
Because look, there's nothing out there really like that, right? Where
in the real world
where you're getting dressed up every single day and you have these adventures and you're getting all dolled up with your hair and your makeup done, we talk about that though. That's something that I got to. There's a theme that keeps coming up and almost every woman is saying it.
Okay.
That they haven't felt this alive.
A lot of people have said things like that. They
haven't felt that giddiness, that sexual charge.
That love is even possible for them.
That love is even possible. And I I think that is so important, and I really want to like hone in on that because it is never too late to find love.
Yeah.
I've seen it with, a 85-year-old client that I had who found love all the way down to 40s. It really the same kind of dynamics apply, and what shows up in your love life is not very unique. Like everybody has issues, everybody has things that they're working on, but I want everyone to know that if you do the work and you have the belief and the positivity, you can find love at any age.
I just played with my hair. It doesn't mean that I'm in love with you.
Well, it's okay to be in love with me.
I mean, I am a little bit. But that does bring me to actually one of the Q&As that we got.
Okay. So awesome.
I want to invite anyone, if you're live on YouTube, let me check the YouTube right now to see if we've
Doug,
got
does it
questions.
matter that this is fun? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I was distracted that was off. Okay.
But I can see if we have any questions. But there was a question that came in that reminded me of that.
Oh, good.
Well, actually, there's 3 questions. Actually, there's 4 questions that we could get into in our remaining time if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But okay, well, let me rewind because one has to do with the show. And I could totally relate to this. So I'll start with Cindy. Cindy had I love her. She had a very relatable moment. And she said, I've been betrayed in my past and it makes it really hard to be vulnerable. And then we got a question about how can I basically get over myself because I've been so hurt in the past and I don't want to bring that on the date, right? And we all, I think, women and men have had a lot of our things that we consider great about ourselves or things that have been traumas in our past that we've shared, then used against us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just don't trust the next person who share who you are to be vulnerable. And so the question is kind of like, how do we, like she says, get over ourselves, but also how do we essentially approach these conversations and relationships with a sense of like, I would love to get to know you and I'd love for you to get to know me, but I have to have boundaries and protect myself. But I also want to be able to be open and share with you who I am and what I've been through.
I know it gets so hard, and it goes back to how we've all experienced hurt, and it is hard to navigate. I always say like it's a balancing act, right? And it is a pacing thing, and all of us are carrying around armor on us. If you're dating later in life, you are, even though you say you're not, you are, and it's just a matter of how much armor you're carrying. But if you have the whole gear on, can you put down the sword?
Yeah.
Can you put down the shield? Maybe peek through the helmet and say, okay, I'm open. And what we're talking about is fear and trust, really. And it's true. And I'm glad Cindy brought that out because it's something that I think everybody deals with, and how it manifests is just different. I think that first of all, sometimes when you get hurt, the armor is on so thick that no one can then even penetrate the armor, right? Like they can't even get to know you. So often what happens is they'll come back on dates and say, I just couldn't feel her, or I couldn't feel him. Like there's this like deflection that can happen, or stoicness. So it can show up in body language. It leaks, by the way. It shows up in body language. It even shows up in the way that you talk. Some of the conversations, you might deflect things about you onto the other person. Like it's different for everybody. So it's like kind of watch for that. And, there's no cookie cutter answer here because, everybody has different things that they're bringing to the table. But in terms of vulnerability, it is so important to be able to express how you feel, to show people like your likes and excitement around things. And I think too many times people are guarded and they're waiting to see if they trust that person and then they open up.
Right.
But then that poses a problem because with that dynamic, now you're attracting lopsided relationships because you're just focused on the other person, and then you're too stiff, in that. It's scary. It's almost like a tug of war with yourself because you want what you fear and you fear what you want. So therefore, like sometimes people just plateau and they don't get any deeper or they don't progress with anybody. So, I mean, I guess the short answer is contact me and I will help you.
Next retreat, November.
Yeah, November 7th and 9th, actually, in Temecula, if anyone's interested.
Mansion.
Yes, and we have a mansion playing off the Golden Bachelor. But everyone gets a rose. It's not elimination. It's
there's no elimination. I'll be there doing social media for you.
Woo-woo! Yeah, so, we definitely have a few spots left if you're interested. But my point is that I don't like, again, I'm not this like rules girl or just do this and you'll be fine kind of answer. With Cindy, what I find kind of interesting, they always have the camera on her when Nicole moves in. And she's always like this, like rolling her eyes.
She's like,
because I think she's getting caught into falling for him, and she's also kind of scared.
Yeah.
And then when she sees the Nicole character come in, I think it triggers her she said she was cheated on, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah. I think
so.
Right.
I think Nicole triggers her big time. And you see, this is how it plays out in the real world.
Yeah.
Like we all have this.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true. And I love what you said. I just want to repeat it in case anyone needs like a little bit of like Kimmy wisdom and knowledge. We love what we fear and we fear what we love.
We want
what we fear and we fear what we want. Sorry, I was like, wait, no, that's not right.
Well, because it's like, I want it so bad, but no, it's like this rubber band.
Yeah.
And it keeps like going like back and forth. Like something's got to give.
Yeah.
And so it comes a little bit from you. And when you give a little, then you get a little. And that's all you can do. And I encourage people to do it in small doses. Again, I'm not saying strip naked and take all your armor off. That's never a good idea, although you'll get something from that. But that's probably not what you want. But the point is the smaller kind of little like mini transactions that you do that try to create like kind of new interactions with people. And then you take note, well, how did that feel? Well, hey, on this date, I'm going to open myself up a little. I'm going to share a little more. Normally, I don't do that. I'm just going to see, and I'm going to see if that person asks more about me and see how I feel about that. And that's what I love. Like it takes these action steps that create the bigger wins overall.
I love that. Okay, ready for some more Dear Kimmy Q&A?
Oh my God, it's like Dear Abby. Do you remember? Are you old enough for Dear Abby? I feel like you're too young for that.
I feel like that was in a newspaper.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. Dear Abby was like the first like columnist where you would write it, Dear Abby.
Yeah,
and, like, here's a problem, and she would answer it. Yeah, so
that's why. Okay, that's why Dear Gabby did her show called Dear Gabby, because it was based on, the Dear.
There's Dear, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Dear Kimmy.
Yes, I've heard of it. So Dear Kimmy.
Yes, I like it.
Is online dating actually worth it for people in their 50s? I feel like it's all scams or guys looking for someone 20 years younger. And we saw that with the Golden Bachelor because luckily they're making a good joke about it on the show, but he said he wanted to date people 20 years younger.
Right.
And I don't think that's what he wants. So she has a point.
She asked if it's too late or is
online
it even
dating actually worth it for people in their 50s? I feel like it's all scams or guys looking for, and there are a lot of scams on there. People are like, want you to buy crypto and stuff. I've seen the documentaries about the women who have been, there's so many documentaries and like podcasts about women who have been taken advantage of and like bought into crypto scams. Oh, they're giving them their money.
Oh, I know.
Oh, don't fall for it. Don't ever I don't even know why anyone would give money to someone they didn't know, but that's another point. But she says, I feel like it's all scams or people looking for someone 20 years or younger. So what are your thoughts about online dating?
Well, look, this got really big during the pandemic. That's all we had to rely on.
Yeah.
And it's like, I call it the pendulum effect. When you're doing one thing for a long time, then everyone goes to the other side. And now we've swung so far the other side where like everybody wants to meet people organically in real life, have that meet cute moment.
Yeah.
But again, nobody knows like how to do it now. And nobody, everyone's just kind of looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do? And online dating has swung so far the other side. I mean, it seems like every call that I have with people now, they're like, I don't want to go online.
Okay.
I hate online dating, you know? So here's what I'll say, and I'm sticking to it. I say this phrase a lot. So if you've heard me say it, I'm going to say it again. Your dating portfolio should be like your financial portfolio. You need to diversify as much as possible to get results. It's never a good idea to say, here's the answer. Put all your stock in one thing. Mm-hmm. That causes burnout. That causes things also like almost like a false hypothesis of what dating is about or a skewed vision of what it's about. So the more you do, the better dater that you'll become, right? And because you're practicing in all these different arenas. So with that being said, I use online dating actually as a practice portal. I hate to say it, but like with my clients, I put them on online dating because you never know, you know, like once you know, first of all, what to look for in ways of the scammers, and it actually becomes really obvious. But if you're a new dater, it's not so obvious. So it's just like do education for yourself and also have a group of girlfriends or, you know, that who have done it and maybe like do it with them. Or if you're a guy, like same thing. But
we'll do a FaceTime. So all these people on these, so like I love scam documentaries and podcasts. So I always watch the scam. So like all these people, they never even did a freaking FaceTime with the person. Like make sure they're real. Like it's so insane. Okay, sorry. I don't think this person is going to fall into those scams. But
I know.
If you think it's a scam, it probably is.
Yeah, exactly. Trust your instincts. And I know a lot of people, like when they're new daters, they don't know, you know, they just think, oh my God, there's a hot guy.
I know.
Or, there's a hot woman. And it's the shiny object, right? Mm-hmm. So don't fall for it. Look and pay attention to your gut and your intuition. But I love using online dating as a way of practicing. So like if you haven't flirted in a while and you don't know how to text flirt, by the way, you have to know how to text flirt.
Okay, teach us.
Not on this podcast.
Right now. Teach us How about 3 tips for text dating?
Okay, use emojis. Because
no, I had a guy tell me you can make a joke without an emoji, and I stopped using emojis ever since.
No. Well, then he's not your guy.
No, he was like, "You're funny without emojis. You can stop." And I was like, "Okay."
Did he know you in real life before? Well, that's the difference because there was context. But I'm saying like if you don't know somebody yet and you're DMing back and forth, emojis is the only thing that we have to create like tonality. So you could say, how are you ? And that's kind of boring. But if how are you kissy face, now that has a different meaning to it.
I would never send a kissy face.
Well, okay.
Someone I haven't
smiley
met.
face or whatever. I'm just making a point.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general. Like
someone we met, I would, but someone I haven't met, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you know, like you could do a smiley face.
Use emojis?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
do you know? Okay, here's another study because I think studies are really
okay. Maybe it's a certain age group. I don't know.
No, emojis play well in all sense. There was a study done, and I excuse me, I don't know where it came from, but I know there was a study that people who use emojis had more sex. I swear to God. No, it's true. And so what that says is there's more fun. There's more playfulness with emojis. Like,
is this for guys and girls?
Yes.
But girls use way more emoji than guys usually.
No, I know plenty of guys who use emojis. I think it's adorable.
I think this is over 50 thing.
No, it's all ages. I think it's great. But look, in a text, you don't know someone's inflection and the way, like, so you could read something that looks almost like off-putting, but then if you put a little smiley face after, it's like, oh, there's a cuteness to it.
I'm going to say I'm okay with a smiley or a winky face, but anything else, I don't know.
In the beginning, yeah. But then as you get to know, yes, kissy face, yes, hearts, like as you get to know people and you're making a connection.
I don't know if I would send hearts.
Why? What's with the hearts?
That is too much. Why would you send
what are we talking here? Second date, third date?
Flirting. I don't know. Like you're talking about flirt texting, right?
Okay, again, we're going back to the phases of dating. So maybe we're talking about the same thing because obviously like if it was a first date, maybe not. unless you had a kiss at the end of the date, and that's kind of cute. Like, I had a good time. Mwah.
Maybe. All right. You can change my mind.
Well, it's something that obviously, like, you have to be comfortable with. I will say that I have played Cyrano de Bergerac, if you know that reference. Do you know that? Oh, you're so cute that you're young. Anyway, no, it's an old reference. There's a guy, Cyrano de Bergerac, and he wasn't very good looking, but he had a way with words and with women. And so he would hide behind a bush and he would tell, this is just a character, and would tell, it was a story, it's a fairy tale. And he would tell like these Prince Charmings who had no game what to say to the women. And he would
they've done this
them.
like in a lot of TV shows.
Correct. Yeah, but it's an old, it comes from an old fable, whatever. So I've played that where, you know, people will send me texts and they'll say, Kimmy, how do I make this more flirty? And when I change a few things and I put emojis in it and I make it more playful and fun, that's when they get the response. So I know it works. It's just a matter of like who you're talking to, how long you've been dating, and obviously there's other variables. I'll say that.
Okay, so that was one. So I asked for 2 more. So 3 advices for text.
Okay, so emoji, right. I knew what you meant.
3 advices. I don't even know if that's English.
Apparently,
I'm not good.
How much more champagne?
I mean, Julie, I guess I've had more than you. That's the problem.
You have. I'm pacing.
You need to catch up.
No, I am pacing myself like dating.
like I should on a date. I shouldn't drink that much on a date.
That actually tells me a lot.
That tells me, yes, I've had too much.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're giving away too much too soon too fast. Anyway, so going back to the second tip, I would say the second tip is almost make it fun and make it a game. You know, you don't have to answer every text at face value.
Okay, what does that
mean?
So
a lot of times people will, and that's where it becomes almost like a business transaction, or I call it transactional. How was your day? It was fine. How was yours? It was good. What are you doing? I'm doing this. What are you doing? Oh my God, so boring. Like,
I'm bored. I want to leave.
I'm bored, right?
I don't have time for this.
And even answering a question with a question, like, so what are you doing right now? Well, what do you think I'm doing right now? I'll give you a hint. And then just like play with each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. And again, it just depends on the context and how well you know one another. But it's no different than like being on a date. You know, in the flirt workshops, I teach this. It's like people are so caught up and so what do you do for a living? And oh, how long have you lived here for? How long was your divorce?
I'm so bored.
Oh my God. Y'all do not do that. And if you're listening on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. It's like a LinkedIn exchange. like I look at some DMs and it's like a LinkedIn exchange, and it's fine for LinkedIn, but not for a dating app, not for a fun, flirty kind of thing.
Right.
So be whimsical, be playful, play a game with each other through the text, add emojis. This all plays out really well.
Okay. I'm down for that one. And what's the third?
The third one, and this is more has to do with the man and the woman. I think too many times women try to lock down something and then they become in their masculine. And, you know, I know we're all busy. I know we want to lock down dates for a date. And because a lot of people get frustrated. They're like, oh my God, I'm having this exchange and he's not asking me out. Or I want to just, you know, talk to him. So one of the examples I say all the time is like, well, if you want to get on the phone with him, instead of saying, you know, I'm sick of all these text exchange, why don't we talk on the phone? Like,
oh God, no.
That is right. Like that. No, that's very.
If someone said that to me, I'd be like, delete, block.
Yeah, it's. But like as a woman, you can be fun and flirty and be like, you know, all this DM exchange. Wonder what your voice sounds like.
That's cute. Yeah.
You know, just something that's kind of inviting that makes the guy want to jump. So it is the fun. It is the flirtiness. You have to make a connection, obviously, in the beginning, you know, to do that. But once you know somebody, I mean, game on.
Yeah, no, okay. Those are good tips, except I will argue against the too many emojis.
Okay.
We can talk about
that. To be
that.
continued. I know this is going to be in episode 3.
Okay.
We're going to bring back the emojis.
I mean, maybe you can train some of our listeners. We can do some tests. But you said that more emojis equals more sex. So, I mean, maybe that'll sell everyone.
But then again, if you don't want sex, now people are not going to use emojis.
All right, but I think it just means more passion. Let's just call it more passion.
It is passion.
Okay.
Use emojis, y'all. Okay.
All right. So here's another question. I keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners and narcissists. What does that say about me, and how do I break the pattern? I don't know if we have enough time for this question, but this is a good one that should be a recurring theme on the show.
Can we do a whole episode on this?
Yeah.
I feel the need to do this.
Okay.
It's something that a lot of my clients struggle with. By the way, both men and women.
Of course.
And I will say this, and this could be kind of the springboard,
okay,
if you will, to a whole episode, is that there is a connection and a correlation with people who are givers, who are people pleasers, who are great listeners, who make people feel amazing.
Who are empathetic.
Who attract, and I'm just going to broaden it to takers. Because it could be narcissists, it could be emotionally unavailable, it could be fixer-uppers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that will continue to happen, and there will continue to be people like that. We can't change those people. All we can do is look at us and how we keep attracting that, right? And what I will say is it has a lot to do with being more like the king of your kingdom and the queen of your queendom, and how we show up for ourselves and see who's listening. And it's hard to do when your default button is always to be the caretaker. So it's really kind of paying attention to how you show up. And that happens, by the way, the minute you say hello to someone. It shows up in the way you're dating. It shows up in the way that you're like asking people questions and how you're making them feel. And so I just had a call this morning on that, and it was the same dynamic. And so the more, and it's not being selfish, it's not, showing up and being like an a-hole or a bitch. It's about demanding more for yourself and letting people earn you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good conversation that we should do a longer deep dive into, because I also have some advice and some opinions. But last question before we wrap up. I met a great guy, but he's still close with his ex-wife. Should that be a deal breaker?
Ooh, not necessarily. I mean, again, it depends on the nature of their relationship and what happened in the breakup. Do they have kids where they have to co-parent? How does it look, in terms of just, I guess the boundaries. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because there was a client that had a good relationship with an ex, but the boundaries weren't there when it came to dating other people. So he would take a call from the ex when he would be on dates. It was a little too much, too cozy, right?
Yeah.
And then, on the other extreme, then you have this like these horrible like relationships that people have with their ex, and like, does that get brought in on dates? Right. So either extreme can happen. So no, I don't think it's a problem unless it is.
I think it's like this. This question is kind of being like, it's black or white. Is this a deal breaker or not? And it totally depends on the situation. And is it a deal breaker for you? And what is their relationship like? Your point. I'm on really good terms with almost all of my exes. I still text with them, and we are great. And some of them I'm even good friends with their wives. So that's because we're still good people that have kept a good relationship, because there's a reason that we cared about each other. That being said, I don't cross any boundaries. They don't cross any boundaries. So for that, if my guy had that same thing, I'd be like, no problem. I'd love to meet her. Right. But if they're crossing boundaries, if that person is a little bit, very single, still in love with them, and it's very obvious, then no, you have to set the boundary and say, okay, to the boyfriend or whatever, look, you can set the boundary and say you can't be in contact with that person, and they either decide yes or no. Or it could be like, hey, they're a great person, I'm a great person, so is your quote unquote jealousy or whatever it is, that's more about you than it is about them. So it's figuring out what that is. Is it about you and things that have happened to you in your past, so you're worried about that, or is that person really unhealthy in that situation? So it's very nuanced, and it's not a black or white question.
Yeah, and by the way, it could be a positive too. I mean, that's great that they may have a good relationship, and it says a lot about that person.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my god, I think we're at the end.
I think we are.
I could go on and on and on. To be continued.
Kimmy, where can everyone find you online and watch more of the show and submit their questions?
Yes. Well, the easiest is to go to datingrealtalk.com. We actually have a URL now, and you could submit questions. If you can't come to us live, you can subscribe there. You can also catch us live on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of it. I love having you live. So if you just like set your clock and your calendar to come and chime in with us, I would love that. And remember, I'm going to be starting on Tuesday doing live coaching calls as well with just me. Also, you can catch me on Charisma Quotient. That drops every week. It's a little bit different format. And
that's your podcast you've been doing for 8 years.
Yes, yes. And obviously, Allie, everyone can find you.
You can subscribe to the Food Heals podcast if you want to hear about nutrition and things that are not about dating and reality TV. But here we're going to talk all about reality TV. Over there, I talk about nutrition, healing the body naturally. I'm a vegan, so there's a lot of vegan cookbook authors on my show, that type of thing. So if you're interested in that, come over.
It's amazing. And actually, nutrition is a big part of dating, and we should talk about that one time. And we had on your podcast.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things that I did at one of your retreats is I worked with the women on nutrition and wellness. And it was just such an important topic because it's so important that we take care of ourselves so that we love ourselves enough to be in a relationship. And we talk about things like that on my show too. So if you're interested in that, we do a lot of self-help, self-love, all of that stuff as well.
Well, and I think you can see by us talking and even just the topics is that it really isn't about the man. It's not about the woman. It's about you. And when you love you, that's when everyone will too. Yeah. So this has been Dating Real Talk. Keep it fun, keep it flirty, but most of all, keep it real.
Bye. In case we're still on. Hi.
Bye. Bye. Hi.
That one's probably still on. Okay. See you guys next time. That's for StreamYard.